Welcome to Linkronicity, where your journey and destiny link. I'm Stacey, Kumagai, your linkologist, and I'm here to help you link your life. Today, we're going to be talking about linking to your bucket list. Do you have a bucket list? Everybody's got a bucket list, right? We're going to talk about your bucket list because I want to bring this to your attention so that you have greater awareness beyond your bucket list. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't right now, but it will in a second, trust me. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. I was talking to a bunch of people. We were at a networking event and we were talking about bucket lists. And the thing that came up was everybody was talking about, oh, well, I'm going to do this later when, and I'm going to do this is on my bucket list and I haven't done it yet. And so the question came up with regard to the timeline. You know, when do you start attacking your bucket list? Do you do this now? And the consensus was yes, you do it, whatever you can do now, because we don't know, right? So then we started talking about this even further on another depth level, where people started talking about their mortality and facing mortality and what that means. Since we don't know when our time is up, right? How do you know when you can actually get closer to achieving your bucket list based on the timeline of the time frame that you actually have to live on this earth here as a human? Even though your soul recognizes that it's just the human that needs the bucket list experience, not the soul. So then we went into another level of conversation, and we went even deeper into soul contracts and why the human is here on this planet to experience their bucket list. Now, before we started, as you started at the beginning of this video, you probably thought, wow, didn't know the bucket list could be that deep, but yeah, it can be. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because when we got to the topic of mortality, people started fearing that they were going to run out of time. They were going to not have enough time to do everything that was on their bucket list, and it created anxiety, and it created stress. And we don't need anxiety and stress. We threw out those links a couple videos ago, right? We got rid of the stress link. So we don't need to be adding stress, because if you think that you can't achieve your bucket list in time, you know, for all that your timeline that you have left to expend here on Earth, then we don't need to be spinning more of the tailspin video for that in our life chain, right? So that's why we're talking about this right now. So as we link to our idea of what the bucket list is, let's ask ourselves the big why question of why this is important. And as you start to look at your list of the things that you still have left to do, that you want to do, I'm going to ask you this. Ask your soul and your heart if it's more important to achieve the bucket list item, to have a memory, to actually have the experience, to reconcile something in your mind, body, soul, spirit balance, or is it just because you think it'd be cool to do? Is that mind ego attachment? Or is it just so that you can say you did it? If we're looking for validation in our achievements of the bucket list, then we can then compartmentalize and sort out why the bucket list looks like it does. It's at the length that it is. And believe it or not, there are things that we can actually cross off the bucket list without actually having experienced them. What? Yes, it's true. As we started talking about this on another depth level, a few people in the group were actually bringing to the point that some of the things that they had on their bucket list, like jumping out of a plane, wasn't so much the idea of jumping out of a plane as much as it was for the adrenaline rush. So I asked the question, how else do you get your adrenaline rush? Where does that come from? Can you get your adrenaline rush other ways? And I wasn't trying to buzzkill the idea of jumping out of a plane. I mean, if you want to jump out of a plane, go ahead. Who might have stopped you? But if you ask yourself why that adrenaline rush is necessary, and how you might be able to get that experience, that joy, that fire, that excitement, that exhilaration now, what are the things that you can do now until you can get to that bucket list item that can bring you that experience? And when everybody started to realize, like, wow, that's just one example. If I look at my other things on my list of what can actually bring those types of feelings to the table, to the surface of my existence, I'm not really missing out on anything. So that whole fear of missing out thing, gone. Poof, gone. And some of it can even be done without even having to tackle any of the idea of things on the bucket list. And that's kind of a miraculous epiphany, right? It's a really cool epiphany. And I wanted to do this video because I know that there's some of you who have that anxiety, who have that fear, who have that stress, that you're never going to get to your entire list of bucket list items in time, whenever your time is up, when we don't even know when that is yet. So first, eliminate the worry, anxiety, and stress, because you don't know when, so why are you worrying about it? And meanwhile, let's be proactive about it as to how we can tackle that now. Even if it's not exactly the right same thing, we can tackle the adrenaline rush, the excitement and the exhilaration, that feeling of vigor that we can get from that actual experience. And when we do that, we can link that into our journey and link to our bucket list in an entirely new way for living our best life right now. Not later, right now. I'm Stacey, Kumagai, your Linkologist, here to help you link your life. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Linkronicity, blogspot.com, and go to linkronicity.com for private coaching sessions. I hope you have a wonderful day and start attacking your bucket list right now, your way, however you can.